It's not enriching you. Um, it is actually maybe a time suck with little to no benefit, or at least not enough benefit to justify the amount of time it's taking. Or if it's just detrimental to your mental health, it is better that you quit now, save your money, save your time, and move on to something else. It really is. Now, I'm not advocating quitting just to quit because things got hard. No, life is hard. You gonna keep on living, right? Hey, what's going on, y'all? I hope life is good. And if it ain't, I hope it gets better. And hey, maybe this podcast will play a part in making that happen. So sit back, listen, hang a bit, laugh with me, laugh at me. All that matters is you're here. This podcast starts right now. Enjoy. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Blaze. I'm somebody's dad, just figuring it out. It's the name of this podcast. Hey, I appreciate you guys starting your year off with me. I think I'm taping this on the day after New Year's Eve. So whenever you're listening to this, hopefully it's applicable, because 25 was a lot. I mean, a lot of good, but a lot. With that said, I'm going to talk about maybe a thought I have about 2026. I believe it can be of benefit to you. But first, we're going to get something straight right out the gate. Now, I'm going to be general on most things. I'm going to be specific on a few. But regardless of what I say, I ain't no guru, boo-boo. You help me, I help you. And at the end of the day, if we can be just a little bit better versions of ourselves, which I believe we can be, I'm going to call that a W. So I'm kind of processing everything. Listen, me and my wife did not, I say we're old, but I know cats that are like 60 that absolutely stayed up to watch the fireworks. I don't know if it's so much we're old as it is we just like the comfort of our bed. It's just so comfy. And we got to snuggle each other, and it was beautiful. Come on, somebody. Hallelujah. Happy New Year to us. But we was asleep. For real, for real. So I hope y'all enjoyed the fireworks. Hope you appreciated them for us. Because we ain't seen not damn bit of them. Unless it was on TV in like Sydney, Australia, or Singapore, or Dubai, or something like that. Whatever YouTube was showing us. Before we kind of knocked out, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, what did I do last year that I probably shouldn't even be on that kind of time to start this year? And one of the things that I remember last New Year's was I had all these huge plans. Nothing wrong with plans. I had goals and I had dreams. And I personally believe your dreams should be absolutely enormous, ridiculous, unreasonable. Your goals should be attainable, achievable, and believable. And you should have some checkpoints in there, right? Just some times where on the road to your goal, you can be like, hey, am I still on the right track, or did we veer off course 1 degree? Because 1 degree a couple of feet ain't gonna mean much, but 1 degree a mile and you might be in a completely different place, right? I had all of that set, and I was excited and I was ready, and I was like, yeah, tomorrow I'm about to do this, 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 and also this, and I might do that because I'm feeling like I can get it all. And what did I do? Not a single thing. Actually, no, that's not true. I did a few things, but I didn't do all of them. And do you know how I felt? Oh, by the end of the first day of 2025, I felt like a failure, dude. I felt like a loser. And I'm not even saying that it was the end of the world, because clearly it wasn't. I'm here in 2026. Anybody die? But what it did was it hit me in a way that was negative. Sometimes when life hits you, it's kind of it's a gut check. Like either you're doing something wrong, you're not doing enough of something right, two different things. Or maybe this is life saying, hey, you are about to make a wrong turn. I see that you're about to make a wrong turn. You might even know you're about to make a wrong turn. Let me just go ahead and one time right up in the gut, just so you know, ain't no need to do that wrong thing. Like, we don't need to make a turn, stay straight. Like, it wasn't even that sort of gut check. It was almost as if 2025 was saying, you know, be realistic with what you believe you can get done in a day, and also be realistic with who you are at this moment in time. Because the beginning of 2025, I could tell you all the dreams and goals I had. I could tell you how I set things up. I could tell you every bit of it. Could just weave that story. You'd be like, oh my gosh, he's going to do it. But my follow through, to say it was lacking, was understatement of the year. But also, I was that person who would quit after the victory. So I would do the thing I said I would do. Yeah, awesome. And then the next day I wouldn't. It'd almost be like I would do the hard part of sticking to the thing I said I would do, being a man of my word, keeping the promise I made to myself. And as opposed to saying, okay, that's day one, I would say, I did it. We got another 364 to go. But for whatever reason, that was who I was. And I was also the person who did not realistically understand, or better said, who did not realistically accept that I was not the get up and go, get it done person who was going to check off every box on the list. What I've realized I am is someone who is going to have that list, and I'm going to prioritize out of 10 things. Here are the top 3 things I want to get done. If I get them 3 things done and nothing else, I am fine. I get them 3 things done, and then I get 2 more things done. Yo, we rule the world. It's crazy. Yo, what a day. What a time to be alive. Glory, hallelujah. But 2025, I had not made that realization. So what I told myself was 2026, don't make a grandiose statement to anybody, including yourself, about what you're going to do day one. Here's why. And this is the part that I think people can really benefit from, if you haven't benefited from my nonsense already. I was focused so much on how I was going to start. Oh, I'm going to get this done and I'm going to do this. Day one is going to be crazy. Well, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. And I'm not going to lie to you. 2025, I think we finished pretty got darn good. Yeah. And here's the cool thing. There were plenty of areas where we could have improved, where maybe I wanted to be further along, where maybe I wanted to have certain things taken care of or set, and it didn't work out. 'Tis life. We move on. But if we're being straight up and down, where 2025 started, I was better off at the end of 2025 than I was at the beginning. Oh, and it sucked for a little bit too. I ain't even gonna get into all of it, but it was not fun the whole time. However, my personal opinion, my belief, I was blessed in the midst of it, even when I didn't realize the thing that sucked had within it a seed of equal or greater benefit. But again, the thing that I think people can take from that you guys can benefit from, because I benefited from the realization, it is not how you start, it's how you finish. There are a lot of you guys who are going to do a couple of things at the beginning of the year. You're going to start something and you're going to quit it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. If you begin a journey and you find out that this journey is not the direction you want to go, quitting it is just fine, because it's not going to get you to where you want to go. If you realize that you are doing a hobby or an activity and it is not positively benefiting you, now you had every intention of it benefiting you. You looked and researched, and this is supposed to do this, and then I'm going to feel this way, and it's going to be so awesome. And it ain't. Quitting that is good. I would even go so far as to say, guys, if you begin a thing and it is not serving you, it's not benefiting you, it's not enriching you, um, it is actually maybe a time suck, or it's just taking way too much time with little to no benefit, or at least not enough benefit to justify the amount of time it's taking. Or if it's just detrimental to your mental health or your well-being, like, again, you really wanted this thing, whatever this thing is, to have done something awesome, and it's just not. It is better that you quit now, save your money, save your time, and move on to something else. It really is. Now, I'm not advocating quitting just to quit because things got hard. No, life is hard. You gonna keep on living, right? Yeah. So I do not recommend, when you hit some adversity, throwing in the towel. What I do recommend is going through that adversity, seeing if on the other side of that adversity you are better off. I do recommend gaining some perspective. I do recommend really evaluating whether or not this is something that is beneficial, not simply just a feeling of, I don't want to do this because it is hard. I don't want to do this because it's frustrating. I don't want to do this because I'm not yet good at it. But if you've done that evaluation and you in your heart of hearts believe that this is just not for you, guys, I am advocating now. Quit, save your money, save your time, save your mental health, and move on to something that is good for you. Don't quit and do nothing. Quit and do something different that is going to get you to where you want to be. Quit and do something that is going to be of benefit. I am huge on not just sitting around and doing nothing. And that very much was me. And listen, you can be productively lazy, meaning you get a bunch done and you do that so that you can just chill. But I mean, just sitting around doing nothing, meaning like you're not in pursuit of something. I really think you need to be. But a lot of people, they're going to quit, and they're going to quit prematurely. So they're going to miss out on the benefit of the other side of hard, the other side of frustrating, the other side of not yet good at it. I think also, a lot of folks are going to start, and here's the cool thing, they're going to start off super fast with a bang. It's like, wow, we are shooting threes. Everything is swishing. We talk no rim, just net, and you just throwing stuff up behind the back, and it's swishing. Just like, you can't miss. The thing that you started is taking off like crazy. The idea you had seems to be gaining speed. Like the things that you said you were not gonna do, you're not doing them. You are locked in. It is incredible. And then you're gonna hit a speed bump. One of the things that I find with people who take off really, really fast is that when you hit even the smallest speed bump, it can cause a major derailment. Let me do you like this. If if there's an itty bitty pebble on a train track, no big deal. I mean, the train is huge, it's going super fast. Not gonna throw it off course. If there's a rock that's, let's say, the size of a baseball, well, now relative to the speed of the train, relative to the size of the train, the weight of the train, you'd think, no big deal. Run right over the thing, baseball explodes, or rock rather, explodes, and we keep it moving. Nah, not so much. That rock that's the size of a baseball, that is insignificantly small compared to the train, will throw that train right off the track. And let's take it even, I was going to say even further, but maybe in a different direction. Have you ever been running super, super fast down a hill? Or you're picking up speed and you're running and you're trying to keep balance, but you're moving forward. If you trip it's going to hurt a lot worse because you're going to be rolling down that hill, bumps, bruises, scrapes, cuts, the whole nine. Were you going fast? Yep. Were you picking up speed? Absolutely. But one trip caused a little bit of pain. I think there are going to be some folks who start off great, super fast, and then they're going to hit adversity because everybody does. Everybody does. You're going to have to figure out how to keep it moving, because if you start off fast, hit the adversity, and then you stop, I dare say you will regret it more than the individual who got off to a slow start, got to a place where they realized this wasn't for them, and then got off the track. And it is probably, this is not something I know, I'm just probably on this one, and it's probably because when you start fast, you begin to have an expectation that this is how it's going to go at all times. Having a positive expectation of good is what we call hope. That's beautiful. High expectation that things are going to go well. Great. Awesome. Continue. But if that expectation is so fragile that the first bump in the road now has you thinking that, nah, this ain't for me. Well, it's just a little adversity. That one thing didn't go your way. The other 12 things went your way. Yeah, I don't know if this is for me. That ain't the move. Let's not do that in 2026. Let's take a breath and get back on track. We're going to be all right. I think a lot of people in the beginning of this year are going to bring old things from 2025 into 2026. Listen, habits are hard to break. And I'm not saying that a magical 24 hours and some fireworks is going to change the habit you had. If you haven't broken the habit yet, you haven't broken the habit. And now I've heard it said that in order to get rid of one habit, you got to replace it with another. I honestly believe that's true. So some people are going to bring old habits, old ways of thinking, old ways of doing into 2026. They better shake them off. Shout out to Taylor. Because if they don't, their year is going to look very similar to the one they just left behind. We'll talk about habits. Yeah, instead of trying so hard to stop a thing, take the time that you would do that thing. Take the moments where you would do that thing, that habit that you're trying to break, and introduce something else. Let me say, easy example. Easy example. I know that I used to watch porn whenever I was bored and literally just had nothing to do, or I would watch it when I was like sad or frustrated or something like that, like an emotion that felt defeatist, right? Okay, cool. Maybe I'm not the only person. Maybe I'm the only person that was like that. But here's what I did. What I did was I said, all right, when those moments come, I will not touch my phone. That's one part. But it's a huge part because it is introducing a new immediate action that is not the same as the immediate action of that habit. Remember, if I'm feeling down or defeated or something like that, if I'm feeling bored, grab my phone. I might look at a little bit of soccer, might look at a little bit of this, might scroll on social media, but eventually I'm going to get to porn. So let's not touch the phone. Am I going to eventually have to pick up my phone? Yeah, but by that time, that thing, that moment that would have immediately triggered me to do that has passed. It's just me introducing something in a little bit different. That's just for habits, guys. For ways of thinking, like what you're going to need to do then is start introducing yourself to different ways of thinking. I recommend listening to podcasts that are a little bit different, a little bit more uplifting, a little bit more positive, maybe challenge the way that you think about yourself and your perspective. Reading different books. I gave a couple on my last podcast. I think I gave Enemy Called Average and Slight Edge. I think how I oh gosh, what is it called? It's by Frank Bedker. How I lifted myself from failure to success through selling. I believe that's the title of the book. I could be absolutely wrong about that. Um, there's another book that I highly recommend, and this book is one of them books where it's like a short read, short, and it's almost a children's book because I read it to my eldest two children, and I read it to my youngest two. It's called The Dream Giver. Read that book. I think the cover of it has like a feather on it or something like that. It may have changed at this point, but like that's how you change your way of thinking, right? Some people, and this is gonna be here's a fun one. Some people are gonna bring the same person that they were into 2026. The reason that this is fun is because in order to be somebody different, you just got to be somebody different. Well, that's not who I really am. Is it though? Like, could it be that it's who you really are? Could it be that you don't even know who you really are because you've only been one way for the entirety of your life? There's some of you right now is so risk averse, you will not try something new if it's just a different seasoning on your fries. You are so, I cannot go outside of what I know, that you're missing the world. Some of you guys live in so much fear that stepping outside of that fear is incredibly scary, even if it's into something better. You see everybody else doing things, living life, but you're afraid to do it. Listen, I get it. Everyone has had fear, and everybody's got different types of fears, but fear is fear. The only thing that overcomes fear is action. And if you are the person who fears, you get to then act your way into a feeling. You get to decide, let me say it this way. Have you ever gone to a new school? Right? Maybe you moved, maybe your family is military, maybe somebody got a different job and you moved to a different school. Or maybe you went from sixth grade and it was like a smaller school. Maybe I'm throwing this number out there because I don't know, small is relative. Maybe it was like a total of 300 kids in the whole school, and then you went to the high school, which had 1,000. Right? I'm just throwing this out there because maybe there's a couple different middle schools that fed into that high school. Do you remember the opportunity you had to reinvent yourself? Now remember how you could have been known as something in middle school or known as something at that other school, and you could walk into these doors. And if it was going from middle school to high school, maybe a handful of people knew you, but there were so many people, y'all were so spread out that people may have known who you once were, but you got a chance to become something completely different. Or if you walk into that new school, you could be the same. I'm going to throw this out there because it's typically what you see in like movies and stuff. You could be the same shy, timid, scared, nervous individual, or you could walk through there confident, chest out, just smiling, super friendly, outgoing. And some people might say, well, that's me just faking it. No, that's you deciding to act a different way. Well, they'll figure me out. They're gonna know. They're gonna know that's not really me. No, they won't. They'll know exactly what you tell them. Here's the thing, though. You're not gonna be able to uphold this and become this if you speak against it. So if you keep calling yourself a fraud, eventually what you tell yourself is going to come out in your actions. And that upright, confident individual you decided to be is going to shrink back into that timid, nervous individual that you once were. Y'all, some folks are going to bring the 2025 version of themselves right into 2026, and they do not have to. But if you want to change that, then you're going to have to change how you think. You're going to have to change how you talk to yourself. You're going to have to introduce some new habits in the spaces and times where old habits existed. And you're going to have to fake it until you make it, which really is you're going to have to be the person you want to be until you're the person you want to be. Super simple, isn't it? Well, the complicated thing is us, right? The individual person. We're complex. But what we have to do, typically pretty simple. As I really do believe that one of the biggest things that people do when they go into a new year is they don't start with the end in mind. How do you want to end 2026? Like, what does that look like for you? Like, let's take it from a couple different angles. If you've got some goals physically, whether they be aesthetically or in terms of strength, or maybe in terms of overall health, maybe in terms of results on tests that your doctor takes, or whatever it is, man, what does that look like at the end of the year? When you're saying Happy New Year and we're going into 2027, what is the thought that comes to your mind, the vision that you see? 2026, 11:59 p.m. In terms of health, what does that look like? Or maybe it's financially. Okay, well, where do you want to be financially? How much do you want in the bank account? How much debt do you want to have knocked off? Like, when you think about 11:59 p.m. 2027 or 2026, wow, we get a little far ahead, but 2026, what does your financial peace feel like? What does it feel? What does it feel like to be in the financial space you envision yourself to be in? Yeah, you could say, I want this much in my account. Yeah, I want this much debt gone. But visualize what. Just take a moment to be like, ooh, what is that going to feel like? Am I going to feel lighter? Am I going to be less worried, less stressed? At 11:59 p.m. 2026, if you're talking about self-image and where that's going to be at that time this year, who do you see in that mirror? What's the feeling that you feel when you just imagine that person? What does that person do when they're in a crowd? What does that person say? How big is that person's smile? In those times when it's hard, what is that person's first thought? Is it to cower or is it to conquer? What is that person like? Because that person is you. We gotta have an end. We gotta have an idea about what that looks like, what that feels like, and go there in our mind as much as we can throughout the year. Because it's not how you start, it is how you finish. And regardless of how you finish 2025, we are starting 2026. And it don't really matter how you started 2026, because it's just day one. We got 364 more of them things to go. But it does matter, and it is important to know how you're going to finish. So let's do our best now at the beginning so we can finish strong. Hey everybody, that's our show. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I'm somebody's dad, just figuring it out. Hopefully you got something from today's episode. Like it, share, subscribe, get involved in the comments, tell a friend to tell a friend. And until next time, smile a little bit more. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and I will see you on the next episode.